How would you like to make this beautiful Christmas tree out of old jewelry? I'm going to show you how. I pulled out some of my trinkets and things I save for projects like this. There's just so many fun things to choose from. Then there's some old jewelry, some little Christmas earrings. All these things I'm going to add into that Christmas tree. Let's talk about some of the supplies we need. We need a piece of velvet that will fit into the frame. We of course need a frame. I find it kind of fun to have something ornate just because it's going to be a beautiful Christmas tree. We're going to need some glue, Elmer's, Joann's, whatever. And then we're going to need a hot glue gun. We also need something that we can attach the velvet onto. Now you could use, this is a canvas board, it's heavy duty. This is foam board. You could use a piece of plywood, heavy duty cardboard. So let's do our first steps. This is the back of the frame. This is what holds everything into the frame. So I drew a square in my foam board, exactly that same size. So my first thing I'm going to do is cut this out. I'm going to use a knife. You can use an X-Acto knife. You could try scissors. You could use a rotary cutter. There's a lot of things you can use. So it's cut out and it is exactly the same as our backing. Now we're not going to use the glass or the mat that came with the frame. It's just going to be these two pieces. Now the first thing we're going to do is put a layer of glue, an Elmer's glue kind of thing, mine happens to be Joann's, all over this. Then I'm going to take a brush, a paintbrush, and spread it out. Because we do want all of our pieces not to try to pull the velvet and stretch it. We want it to just really adhere to. Now, could I use a spray adhesive? Perhaps. I haven't ever done that. The Elmer's glue just works so well, and you can just easily spread it around. Use a paintbrush or a foam brush, anything that you might have. Now you might say, well, why are you spreading it all over everything instead of the edges? Because this is actually going to get flipped over and it's going to lay onto the velvet, the back of the velvet. Okay, see how we have that all spread out? Then I'm going to take it and press it down. I have the hot glue gun so it's on and it's ready, and I have extra glue sticks if I might need them, and we're going to run all around the edges. I usually leave 1 inch to 1.5 inches so that we can pull it. So we're going to start at one side and then do the opposite side so we can pull it taut so that it's really stretched nicely. And I just press that for a little bit. Because it's on the table, I know it's flat, it's even, it doesn't have any wrinkles. So we're just going to take a glue gun. Does it matter which kind of glue gun? No. This is a thermal grip. I have probably 6 different kinds of glue guns. And I am just running kind of a weave pattern, a ribbon pattern. And I'm going to pull that over. Do be careful. A glue gun is hot, just the way it is. I'm going to press that down, and I can feel the warmth through it. So then I'm going to just twist that around. And when we do this side, we're going to make sure that we pull it tight. Now I'm going to grab another glue stick because I'm going to need that before I'm done. I'm going to put it in the glue gun. And I know you can get glue sticks that are cool glue sticks. Don't use it. This really needs to hold well. And I think you're better off just having to be careful with the hot glue. Okay, now we're going to pull it and push it over. We want it to be very taut. We don't want any wrinkles. Now I'm just going to let that sit for a second. I am going to trim this extra that's in here. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to make a little square. So we're ready to do a corner. Now I don't want to go all the way to the edge, so I'm just going to come in about 1/4 of an inch and cut that. I just don't want all that bulk. Could you just tuck it under? You could, depends on your frame. And this time, I am going over top of the velvet. So let's turn it this way to make it easier. Continue to make that ribbon. It really spreads out that glue. I'm going to tuck it a little bit and then bring it over. Hot. Be careful. Always hot. Tuck it over a little bit and bring it over. I'm just going to smooth that out. Nobody's going to see this backside because we have the backing from the frame. And I'll just do this side. I've tucked it into the frame. And it's a snug fit because we've added the velvet. And I'm just pushing that down. And then I come back and put our backing. Now the frame has little metal pieces. And those are going to get bent over to keep both the velvet in there and the backing. And see how you just bend those over? And it makes it secure and it makes it stay in there. You might ask, why don't I put all the decorations on and then put the frame in? But because there's different heights that will go from the different jewelry pieces, sometimes it's difficult to attach it if it goes up above the edge of your frame. And this way it's all in place, and after the pieces are glued down, I don't have to worry about anything. Now, is this still drying? Yes, but that doesn't mean I can't work on it. And so I like to lay it out first, so I just can start adding beautiful jeweled pieces. And I can decide where everything goes. Now you can make this very triangular. You can make it so it looks like branches are coming out. But I'm going to lay it all out first, and then I'm going to decide. One of the reasons why I like to use foam core instead of, say, plywood, which is very hard, because a lot of my pieces I've collected through the year, sales after Christmas, things like that, and they're literally pins. And because it's a pin, it wants to be a little more bulky and stick out, but I can really just jam it into the foam core, and it works perfect. So I'm just going to start putting some of my stuff out, working, and I'll make it go fast forward so that you can kind of see things I'm doing, trying, taking away, adding to, things like that. Now this is a good start. So I'm going to hook all of these pieces on, and then I'll come back and I'll start adding the pearls, and I might add some sequins. And I have a lot of different beads. Like I have strings of beads that I can add in there. And different size pearls. But I want to get the base first. And so I'm just going to go through. I'll attach all these pieces in, and then I'll attach everything to fill it in more. I like to put things in that are a part of me. I love owls. I love bumblebees. I love cooking. I love sparkle. Baking. I'm going to make some little dragonflies. There's the wings, and I'll add beads to make them look like dragonflies. Now you can make these as close together or as sparse as you want. That's totally up to you. It's just part of the fun. All of our main pieces are attached. They're hot glued. One of the other things I like about using the hot glue is if I needed one of these pieces for a reason, I could heat it up with my hair dryer, and it would loosen it up and I could take it off. I'm starting to put the pearls on there. One way to do it is put the pearl, just stick a toothpick in there, or you can do it on a pen, because the hot glue is hot. And so it's easier if you can have it on something that you can just slip off. So then you can just put a dot of glue. Because the pearl is so light, it hardly needs any. And that way you can set it where you want it and just slide it off. And I actually prefer the sewing pin versus the toothpick, because on some beads the hole is really small. I'm just going to continue, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of beads around. I have the pearls on there. Now I'm going to do the couple dragonflies. I'm going to put their bodies on. And then I'm going to add some bling. More bling, that is. A lot of times when you're using hot glue, you get all these little strings. And the easiest way to get rid of them is your hair dryer. It heats it up just enough so that those little strings just disappear. And the ones that are left, you can just pick up. Now sometimes you'll get hot glue on your velvet. Just let it dry completely, and you can scrape it off. If you can't scrape it with your finger, get a toothbrush, and it will lift up the nap of the velvet. But I hope you try making a Christmas tree. If you don't have enough jewelry right now, after Christmas, lots and lots of stores that sold Christmas jewelry and brooches and necklaces have it on clearance. And then you can make one for next year. As always, like, subscribe, share with the world, and I hope you enjoy making a Christmas tree.